Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us. Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us.
Let's turn the phones off and spend some time. Let's spark and conversate. I wanna know what's on your mind. We can pop a bottle and chill and unwind. Cause the last couple weeks we've been busy on our grind. So I wanna feel your love and hear you say it's all mine. You're beautiful and your smile so divine. And I can even front, I'm so glad you're mine. Cause the love this real is rare and hard to find. And sometimes I wanna spoil you, baby. Got me looking at your ass like that's all you, lady. You don't never gotta worry cause it's all you, baby. My most prized possession, my wife and my lady. My best friend, the mother of my babies. And since day one, you ain't never tried to play me. I ain't felt nothing that's this real. So don't let nothing become between the bond we built. It goes
Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us. Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us.
It goes on. They say opposites attract. So every time you're gone, I cannot wait to get you back. Hold up, come here. Moment of silence, cause you killing them all when you walk by. You got it the hottest, you got sweating now. One in the mill, trying to keep you around. You say you new in town, let me be your guide. You could be a passenger and really take a ride. A little tipsy off the wine. It's the vibe. Invite me with your eyes, in the heat, I make it rise. Is it a crime? Playing shy day, three-way, you on the line? You keep me high, love is blind, leave you on the ribbon in the sky. It's the vibe, factory, baby, ain't no lies. Roll up.
Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us. Can you feel the fire, baby? Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us.
Now every time I look at you, I see half of my life, I see half of my days, half of my nights, I see more than love within your eyes, I see more into your soul, into your vibe. Got a dream pristine like Martin Luther the King. What I mean, for the fire just started, you see the steam and it's clean as the board to help eat off the floor. And it's cool how we got back you up, adding up more, mommy. Yo, the fire so hot, the consumers raising our temperature. We
Flame on,
yeah, before we get started, the sweat dripping and glistening. We
flame on,
yeah, and when we do what we do, I love just how we do it when we.
flame on.
That's why you never wanna leave. I hear your body talking to me. Flame on.
Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us. Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us. Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us. Flame on, get it burning. Heat up from the fire coming from us.
Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Sion. This is the Proof in the Pudding podcast show, and I'm excited today, yo. I told y'all it was going down, and it's up, and it's stuck, yo, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. We got Chanel Staxxz in the building, yo. That's right. See Blicky the goddess. See Staxxz.
Hey.
Yo, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about you being on the show, yo. I'm saying you're doing big things, yo. For the people that may not know who you are, let's introduce yourself and let them know where you're from.
Well, I'm Chanel Staxxz. I'm originally from West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm 23 years old. I'm Sagittarius. I'll be 24 in December. I moved up to Atlanta in 2019, so I've been here roughly about going on a little bit over 2 years now.
About 2 years now. Okay. So I see you modeling, you doing your thing. You're all over the net. You taking trips. You outside. You doing it big.
Always outside.
Yeah,
It's
and that's a
always
fact right there. You definitely always outside. So let's take it back in the beginning. Around what age did you know that modeling was something you wanted to get into?
As a kid, I've always been very theatrical and very extra,
Right.
per se. So, my mom, she actually asked me if I wanted to get into it, and I was just like, yeah, like, why not? So I did my first photo shoot. I was probably like 10 or 11. I did a
Wow.
photo shoot to start building a portfolio, and then I actually, in middle school, I was interning for this company called the Miami Fashion Board.
Oh wow.
And what they do is they are like a traveling company. So what they do is they travel to like different mega malls in the US, and they set up like a runway, and they set up like a live mannequin box, and they
Wow.
cast, regular people in those
Right.
cities that have them come out and showcase on that runway. So I was interning for them for a while in Miami, and that's when I really like started to get into it and was like, okay, this is cool. I like this. Like,
Okay.
I can do this. And then in school, in middle school, I wanted to go to a school of the arts, in which I was this close to getting in, this Bach School of the Arts. But because I put dance as my first choice over theater,
Right.
it backfired on me. But yeah, I've always just been real, like, outgoing, being seen. I don't know.
All right.
That's
So,
just me.
all right. Nothing wrong with that. So you said you was doing an intern. How old were you when you was doing the internship?
Interning, I was like 14.
14. So you was already in the business. You was learning. What are some of the things that you learned that stood out the most?
Ultimately, modeling is a somewhat effortless sport. Like, the best models are effortless. When you try to force photos, force faces, that's when you get like the worst pictures. Like, the best pictures come out candid.
Wow.
Like you just living in the moment, doing the thing, you leave it up to the photographer to capture that shot for you. Because if you're too focused in on what you look like, it'll show. Like,
Right.
in the camera, it'll show that you're uncomfortable. It'll show that you're, how people say it can read your eyes and stuff. Like, it'll just show. So one of the biggest things I learned as far as modeling goes is to just let it flow and be effortless with it.
Okay. So you letting it flow. So you said they also did the mannequin box. Is that like where they at the store and the people are sitting there with their real people?
Yeah, so we were real people, and they had this big, huge glass box that was set like in the middle of the mall. Like how you walk in the mall and they have like the little stations in the middle, and then you got the stores on the outside. So they would
Right.
sit the box in the middle of the mall, and we would go into the box, and we just standing there and like,
Wow.
and then people would come by and they'd be like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, they real? Like, are those real people? And it's like you standing in there, trying not to blink, trying not to laugh, trying not to smile. And then we used to have routines and stuff too. Like, we had whole dance routines to where
Wow.
people would come and then they'd crowd around the box, and then they'd be like, oh my God, these are real people. And then the music would start playing, and then it's like a whole like routine going on, and it's like real cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
So
an experience.
that's what I was gonna ask you. So did y'all get to travel with that? I know you said y'all went to various places. What were some of the places that you went to?
The traveling was mainly to like different malls, different mega malls. Like, we did the Outlet Mall in West Palm Beach, and then we did the Wellington Mall. It's
Wow.
another really popular mall in Palm Beach. And then at the end of the season, because they did it by seasons before they moved to another place or to another mall, they do like a really big show in Miami at the Dolphin
Wow.
Mall. I don't know if you
Right.
ever heard of the Dolphin Mall. But yeah, at the Dolphin Mall, we did like a big like runway show with like everybody that was involved in the project. But shortly after that, I kind of just ventured off into my own thing
Start
because,
doing your own.
yeah.
Okay. So were you nervous at this point? Was this like one of your first biggest gigs, or you was already used to it by the time you started doing them all?
Like I said, I've always been extra real outgoing. Like, the nervous part exists only for a little bit. But it's
Okay.
like once you get into it, it's like, all right, we here now. Let's get it going. Like, I've
Let's get
always
it going.
been like that. So
Okay. So all right, you started out young. So all right, you said you always was animated. You always knew you was charismatic and stuff like that. What first drew you into it and said, yo, I want to get into the arts. I wanted to get into the theater. Do you remember a moment or a time or something that might have influenced you where you said, yo, I want to do that?
I was just a stay-at-home kid, and I watched a lot of TV. Watched a lot of Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, and
Wow.
Cartoon Network growing up. They have like the little shorts and the little shows. It's like, dang, I want to be one of those kids like on TV. I sit at home and watch y'all all day. I want to be on TV.
Wow.
So I can't really pinpoint when I made the decision. I just feel like naturally, me as a person, I'm just an artist. I like to
Right.
express myself in many ways. Like I don't really have any limits. I don't like to put myself in like a box. I kind of
Right.
just, if it's something that I'm interested in, I just kind of dive into it. And it's like, if it's for me, it's for me. If it's not, then I'll move on from it.
Wow. Okay. So you're putting it together. So you're like, yo, there's something I want to do. I know a lot of kids, they watch Disney and they dream of being on there. Do you remember some of the shows like, yo, I could be on there? Was it like a show at
That's
that
So
time?
Raven. I want to be
That's
on
So
That's So
Raven?
Raven so bad. She's a side bitch. That's so cool. I want to be on That's So Raven so bad. What's another show I used to watch a lot as a kid growing up? Like cartoons and stuff.
Right.
But no, I could say That's So Raven was like that one. Because it was like one of the only black shows on Disney Channel back then at the time.
Right.
There
And
weren't,
right.
So I was like, dang, That's So Raven. That's so cool. Oh, and I remember I wanted to be in Zoe 101 because I thought her
Zoe.
school was just so lit. Like, I wanted to go to boarding school.
Wow.
I
Right.
made me
So
want to go to boarding school. Zoe 101 was another movie. Xenon. Xenon is
Xenon.
through. Xenon is like a series of like this girl that lives in space on a space
Oh, wow.
station. Yeah, like real out of the world type thing. So I was like, dang, I would be on these shows. But back as a kid, I didn't really know, what
Right.
goes into producing a show like that. Like I'm thinking, like, dang, like they really, in
Right.
space.
So all right, yo, you had the imagination and you always thought big. You said That's So Raven. You're talking about we out of space, we shooting in space. So what were some of the things that you struggled with in the early beginnings? Like, yo, was it always a natural transition, or did you have to put in a lot of work to get where you are?
I had to put in a lot of work. I had to build my confidence up a lot. I struggle with anxiety and depression really bad, like throughout my whole life, basically. I still do a little bit,
Right.
but
Wow.
yeah, I struggle with it really bad because I didn't really grow up with my siblings. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother, but they're all older than me. My oldest sister,
Okay.
we're 11 years apart. My other brother and sister, they always live with their mom. So I was kind of like an only child because by the time I got to 6th grade, my sister was moving out and going to college in Tallahassee. She went to FAMU. Shout out to FAMU. But yeah, she went to FAM, and I was kind of like an only child. And my parents, they were hustlers. Like they were entrepreneurs, and I could say that's kind of where I got it from too. Like the hustle aspect of it because I grew up in that and I seen it, out
Right.
of them. But it did sacrifice my adolescence having parents that were always at work or always gone. So I got into a lot of stuff very young, kind of just dibbling and dabbling in things, and a lot of stuff I went into blindly or not really knowing, what's going on and stuff. So yeah, I struggle with, anxiety and depression like really bad. And I was always like really small, really skinny. People always tell me, like, you're so tiny, you're so skinny, you got no meat on your bones. So then that was kind of like another thing that made me want to get into modeling. I'm like, okay, well, all the supermodels, they're super skinny. Like,
Right.
they're tiny people, but I had to struggle with that as well because not only was I skinny, I was only 5'3", and models,
5'3".
supermodels, runway models, they're like 5'8" and above. So
Right.
it's kind of just like I had to constantly tell myself, like, like you're enough, you're pretty, you can do this, like you could be something one day, like
Wow. And you definitely
despite
doing it.
all the other stuff. So
You
that was
definitely.
probably one of like my biggest challenges. And I can say now in like 2021, I can really like have my head on straight. Like, all right, like when I want to do something, I'm gonna do that shit. Like,
You get it done now. So now it's
gotta
like you
get it
got,
done.
all right, you got yourself focused. So all right, let's take it back to when you was a child. You said you struggled with a little depression and stuff like that. What was it like in school?
Oh, I went to rough schools growing up. I'm not gonna lie. After elementary school, I went to one of the roughest schools in Palm Beach County,
Wow.
Roosevelt Middle. Shout out to Roosevelt. Everybody that went to Roosevelt. Shout out to the Devils. Yeah, it was like a really rough school. Like I was going to school with, basically all of the kids in the hood. It's how I can say like I lived the best of both worlds because my parents they got themselves out of the hood and they
Right.
tried their best to keep me out of that life. But y'all are just my parents and like the rest of my family, they lived in the hood still. Like they lived downtown. They lived in Riviera Beach. They lived like in the trenches of the city. So it was like I went to school with kids like that. Like I went to school with gangs that were rivaling against each other. We're in the 6th grade and I'm going to school with gangbangers. It's girls in my class that are pregnant. Like I was like thrown into like a whirlwind of what the fuck? Like
Right.
this is crazy. Like, and it started in middle school. So I went to some rough schools. And then after Roosevelt, I actually got kicked out of Roosevelt.
Wow.
Fighting. Because I fought twice. And that wasn't my home school. I was there on a magnet program in technology.
Right.
And my other homeschool, my home school was like ranked #1 worst schools in the county.
Wow.
Like it's called Bear Lakes Middle. So you had Roosevelt, Bear Lakes Middle, and then you had Kennedy, which was in Rivera. But my home school was Bear Lakes. And my mom was just not with it. She was like, you not be going there. Like those kids are bad. In middle school, I had an experience like we had a fire drill. I'll never forget it. It was on the news and everything. We had a fire drill. Everybody's walking out to the field and it was like this big brawl that just broke out. Like everybody fighting. Like 5, 6 fights. They had helicopters flying over the school. Like I've seen some crazy stuff.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So you said, and this is in Tallahassee.
This is in West Palm Beach where I'm.
Oh, West Palm Beach. Okay.
Yeah.
West Palm Beach. So, all right, for the people that never been there, we hear about it like in songs and we see it on the magazines and stuff like that, and that's mostly people visiting or entertainment going on there. Right. What is it like there? Take me through a day-to-day of some times you remember in West Palm.
West Palm Beach is a very diverse place because you have West Palm Beach, which is where I'm from, and you have Palm Beach Island, which is just over a bridge. So you have this road that separates the two called Flagler. I don't know if you've ever heard of Henry Flagler. He was like a big settler back in the day, conqueror, the white. Right. But yeah. So West Palm Beach is kind of like, it's very nice. Like every place has like its nice parts and its bad parts, but ultimately, like as a city, it's really small. I feel like everybody feels like their hometown is small though. Like
right.
It's really small. Everybody kind of like know everybody. Can't really go nowhere without somebody recognizing you. Oh, hey, in Walmart or at the store, at the mall. Like everything's kind of like right there, like close knit within each other in Palm Beach. So life there wasn't terrible, but I only moved away because I just feel like, I don't feel like anybody want to stay in their hometown for the rest of their life. Like I had to get out and just venture on. But I love Palm Beach. Like that's my city. Like that's my city right there. Like
that's home right there. Okay. So now you venture out, right? Were you already modeling before you ventured out, or? Okay, so you modeling. Let's talk about some of the experiences that you remember before you ventured out to get you where you are.
Modeling wise?
Right, modeling wise.
I experienced a lot of scams at first. People reaching out to you and they tell you, oh yeah, we can make you a star, we can make you this, but you gotta pay this amount, this and that. And I learned over time, like any agency that's really scouting you out, you don't have to pay for anything up front. And one of the biggest scams that still out. I think it's called Ramadan, or I can't really remember the name. But it's like a really big company, and they travel from place to place, and they have like conventions in like hotel ballrooms and stuff. Where
Right.
they have, get on the radio. They say, okay, yeah, we're looking for talent. We're casting for Disney. We're casting for Nickelodeon. We're casting for da da da. So I've done like countless auditions and countless like casting calls, and the road led to nothing.
Right. Right.
So that's when I kind of just came as a fact where it's just like, man, fuck these people. I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, I'm gonna do my own thing, create my own brand, use my own name. Like, that's just gonna be what it is.
From there. And that's the thing. You said a real thing right there, because they do have these advertisements. So they say, yo, we're casting for Disney. We're looking for new people for this sitcom and stuff like that. So all the
And you get
parents,
there,
yeah,
and they act like they love you so much, and they like you, and then they hit you with that bill, and they're like, okay, you gotta pick this, and this, and it's just like, oh, and then you're thinking like these people are like really about to, so you let that, you kind of like on an adrenaline high after the audition and being there and them showing you all the people on the screen that they, made in the stars and stuff. So it was just a lot of trial and error before I got to where I'm at now.
okay, and that's real right there. I had people that went and they try and give them like $10,000, $15,000 bills, and they say, okay, we need you to fly out. But you said a real thing. If the agency wants you, you shouldn't have to pay for anything.
Yes, if the agency is really reaching out to cast you, you won't have to pay for anything.
Right. Okay. So you say, bump them. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Do my own thing.
So let's talk about that journey. So now you like, I'm gonna do it on my own. What
Right.
did you do? How did you do it?
Well, Instagram came out. That was a good start. Basically, I just started building my portfolio, hiring photographers, collabing with different photographers, other models, collabing with projects. People have like little boutiques or like, things going on in the city. They need like a face for their website or a face for their flyer or whatever like that. And then after I graduated high school and I started working at Hooters, I actually started working at Hooters in high school.
Oh wow.
But after I graduated, I ended up at Twin Peaks, and that's when I got into like the club postings and being on flyers and promoting parties, and then I got into bartending and then bottle service and like stuff like that. So it's kind of like the ball just started rolling and kept rolling. Like I say, I don't like to put myself in a box. Like being a host at a club, like that's modeling. Like you put you on a flyer, they're coming out to see whatever girls is on the flyer. So that was like what I got into, and that was kind of like how I built the Staxxz name, because that was the name that I was going by at work. That was the name that was on all the flyers. So I started doing parties in Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and then I ventured out, and then I started connecting with people in Atlanta, and then I eventually made the decision to just up and move to Atlanta completely because miracles happen in Atlanta.
All right, and that's a fact right there. And the thing about it,
in Atlanta,
miracles is happening in Atlanta. You're doing big things, and the thing about it, like you're a model, but you look just like your pictures. There's some ladies, they don't look the same. You look like your pictures. So
that's good to hear.
yeah,
Thank you.
You definitely look like your pictures. So all right, how long did it take you to get your style together, to get your look? Because I know sometimes it takes a lot of looking in the mirror. A lot. Was it natural for you, or did it take you time to get your confidence level?
I had many different phases. Like I had an emo phase in middle school where I wore like a lot of black, chains around my neck, and different bracelets and stuff like that. Like I had an emo phase. I had a really bright phase where I wore like a lot of bright colors. I had like a tomboy phase where I dressed in big shirts and baggy clothes. So like now it's kind of like all in one. It's kind of like just how I feel when I wake up. Like, do I want to dress like a tomboy today? Do I want to dress like a girly girl today? Do I want to, it's just kind of like I wear a lot of different hats. I'm really multifaceted. So I wear a lot of different hats. Really, like people never really know what to expect next out of me because I don't never stay consistent to just one thing. I'm always like looking for like the next the next thing to do. So I can't really say that I have like a specific style.
Right.
I'm just me. If I
Right.
wake up today and I want to wear all black and platform shoes, look like the gothic bitch out of hell, then I'll do that one day, and then the next day I'll pop out with like neon colors and colors in my hair. So I started throwing different colors in my hair: blue, purple, yellow, orange. Like I've always just felt like, I don't want nobody just putting me in a box and telling me what I can and can't do. So I just express myself in any way that I can.
Right.
I just
There's
me.
nothing wrong with that. Right. And that's the thing with fashion and style. It is expression of what you think and it's expression of your personality. So let me ask you, you keep saying, I don't want to be in a box. Was it one time that you felt in your life like you were boxed in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's,
Being
let's,
black.
all right, let's talk about it. Don't put all your business out, but let's,
Yeah,
go
being
around
black
it.
is kind of like, you're a black girl, you're a black woman, you're always told like, that you don't have the look for this, or you don't fit the description for that, or, I would go to castings and I would lose to somebody that was of lighter complexion than me, or that was white,
Right.
or, so it was kind of just like, oh, like that's again just venturing off into my own thing, because then it's like, can't nobody tell me what I can and can't do. This is my brand, this is my shit, like,
Right.
So yeah, I've always felt like boxed in, and then again, being small, being very skinny, at a point, being thick is kind of still the thing, like thicker size girls. So even still now, sometimes I was like, oh, I'm so skinny. Like, I just want just a little bit more booty or some hips or something. And then maybe I can get, more opportunities, but I just have to bounce back and recenter myself and be like, nah, like, that's not me,
Right. Okay.
But I can't allow anybody to, deteriorate from what it is that I'm trying to do because I don't fit your image. So create my own image.
That's a powerful thing. You're taking your destiny in your own hand and you're making it work. So for the people that might be watching, or they may watch the playback, they may be interested in getting into modeling, this fashion and stuff like that. What's a misconception that you had when you first started? Like, the business is going to be like this, but once you get in the business, you realize that's not it. What's one thing that stood out that you remember?
The photographers or the videographers that you work with. Like, over the years and over the time and all of the people that I've worked with, like, I've always felt like, like, this is your job, so it should be, safe. But I've been put in situations where I've had photographers that literally just do the most on set, like overly complimenting or making me feel uncomfortable or just not really professional. Like, I noticed, like, in the industry, especially nowadays, like, a lot of photographers aren't photographers because they're artists at heart. They just want to see pretty girls all the time, or naked girls, because I do nude, I do body art, which is semi-nude basically, but it's like a lot of these photographers, and big name people that you wouldn't even think, like how artists or people come out and they have their stories about how they've been sexually assaulted by like top producers, and like that stuff is real. And then it's like, I always be like, how people are like, well, if that was really happening, like, why you wait so long to say something? It's like, to experience it yourself, it's like, that's just embarrassing. Like, like, people feel like, because I'm in a higher position than you, or, I'm getting you on this project or whatever, like, they can just, come at you any kind of way, or talk to you any kind of way, or deal with you any kind of way. And it was like, me going into the industry, I didn't expect to experience that. Like, I'm thinking, when you get casted or something, or you doing a project, like, you're safe, like, this is your job, you're getting paid, but that's not always the case. Like, you'll really end up in some situations with some weirdos. Weirdos for real. Like, I've had photographers literally like get erected like hard and shit, like during filming, and then it's like, oh, what? So that, I did not expect that at all. So now I'm like real strategic with who I shoot with, who I allow to shoot me, who I allow to have pictures of me. Cause you gotta trust these photographers with all your photos. Like, they gonna send you the 2 or 3 that you gonna use to post, but y'all done shot over 200 of them. And
Right.
this is a person that's gonna keep your photos, whether it's in their hard drive, their computer, their camera, whatever. So that was something that I had to learn. Like, you can't always just, be thirsty for opportunity when it's presented to you. Like, you got to do your research. You got to know who you're working with. You got to know the person's reputation, like what they've been involved in and all that kind of stuff. Because it could really put you into a situation where it's like, you wouldn't want to model no more.
Wow. I mean, that's
Yeah,
real right
you
there.
wouldn't want to model no more because it's just like, this is like really compromising like to my energy and to my space. So I just had to learn that because I didn't expect that at all going into the industry.
I can definitely imagine that when you say in the modeling, but when we talk about the industry as a whole, it's the same thing in acting, music, modeling. So
Hmm.
like for the people that's watching, let's tell them some of the dangers that's out there and what advice would you give them?
Um, just don't be thirsty to be presented with an opportunity because it's easy to lose yourself in this industry, especially, working with these walls are so thin. I'm sorry. I said,
Okay.
especially working with like high up people that have like a big reputation or can really take you places. Like they know, like, especially most girls that ain't never been, in the industry or know how to operate themselves. Like you will get taken advantage of and you will be out here doing things, against your will or stuff that you don't want to do, having sex with people to get this opportunity or that opportunity. Like I feel like I could have been took off years ago. Like I
Right.
could have been up with the influencers that got 800, 900K a long time ago, but it's like they'll put that offer on the table like, well, if you do this, I'll give you that. And then it's just like you just got to know you as a person and what it is that you're able to accept and be able to live with after,
Right.
doing it or whatever. So a lot of stuff I just turned down because it's like, nah, like I take the longer route. It may take me a little bit longer to get to the top, but I'll still hold on to me and who I am and not lose myself just to rise quickly, to the top. So my advice is just don't do nothing that you wouldn't want sitting on your conscience when you go to sleep at night. Cause
It get real. It really gets real out here.
it really does get real. It does.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
does.
So you dropping jewels on them. All right. For girls doing shoots, do you bring somebody with you on the first time shooting with somebody, or would you advise? What advice would you give them shooting with somebody for the first time?
I would suggest to bring someone with you on set, especially if it's somebody that you never shot with before. It'll just make you more comfortable and make your pictures come out better because you're more comfortable. I have linked up with photographers and shot with them for the first time by myself, only because I've been doing this for so long. But for people
Right.
that's just starting out, I always suggest, like you bring somebody and bring someone that can protect you if,
Right.
you know,
Something
anything
else.
was to ever pop off. Like, don't just be going out to different stuff because there's a lot of scams and stuff going around too. Like modeling is like one of them industries where it's easy to get trafficked and kidnapped
Right.
and thrown into stuff where you are just like, oh shit, like maybe I should have did my research. So yeah, if you gonna shoot with somebody for the first time, first of all, do your research before you even agree to the shoot.
Okay.
Please research your photographers, research their reputation, go on their Instagram, go on their pages. If you can find models that they've worked with already and speak to them and say, hey, because I've had a turn off for me. If I go on a photographer's page and I just see a bunch of naked women and women in lingerie, it's kind of like a turn off to me because it's like, okay, like, what kind of art are you really doing here? Like,
Right.
Especially if it don't look very tasteful. It's kind of like, all right. And then I'll reach out to models that have worked with them and be like, okay, you shot with this guy before. Like, how did you feel? Like, were you nervous? And then most of the time, girls, they're really honest. Like, they'll tell you, like, oh, like, no, don't shoot with him. Like, he made me feel da 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 da.
Right.
Or some girls will give you the green line and be like, no, like, he's cool. He was really professional, da da da. But still, always take that extra precaution and take somebody with you because just because somebody else had a certain experience doesn't necessarily mean you'll have the same experience,
Right. And that's real right there. And I appreciate that for the people that may be new to the industry. That's a jewel right there. So you're a pro in the game now. I'm looking at your photos. You're building your brand. You're doing everything the right way. You're building your buzz up. You're getting your name out there. What are some of your favorite shots that you've done on the shoot? Like, what's some of the ones that stood out the most? Like, yo, I really enjoyed that one.
Oh, I've done so many shoots. Oh man. My favorite shoot. Dang. Now you got me thinking. Now you got me thinking. Oh, what? Okay, hold on. Now I'm having like a brain fart because I'm trying to think like, dang, what was my favorite shoot? I'd have to say there's so many shoes. I don't know. I have a lot of them that I can choose from. I'm really trying to think because I'm trying to like switch files in my head right now. Like, okay, what shoe was this? What shoe was this? Okay, I'm gonna say that I would have to say one of my most favorite concepts was this one I did not too long ago, and I released it on Christmas.
Wow.
Because it was fully nude. But we did it with Christmas lights, and it was like really dark, and I had like the lights kind of like wrapped up in me, kind of like how you wear like a G-string, and the lights were on, but the atmosphere was dark, and it was like just the artistic side of how the photos came out. Oh, it was just so pretty, and it was just so different. Like I like different stuff. Like I like to try stuff that's like out of the box. So I can say that was probably like one of my favorite shoots. The lights, they was kind of hot. They was burning me a little bit.
That's what I was gonna ask. That's what I was gonna ask you. How did you keep it together? How did you?
Yeah, they were hot. They were burning me, but the photos, like they came out so nice. I had them posted on my old Instagram, which is now my business page, Staxxz the brand. I got my new Instagram now, but that was probably like my favorite shoot.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that was
that's
my favorite one.
How do you get in your mentally? How do you get ready for a shoot? Like, how do you pick your concepts? How do you get in the zone when you do your shoots?
Usually a photographer will approach me and they'll say, "Hey, I want to shoot. I have this concept," and then they'll run the concept across me, and then I'll either agree to do it or not agree to do it, or tweak it a little bit, and then it's kind of like, as far as getting prepared for the shoot and just getting in the zone, it kind of happens once you get on set, because it's like, okay, we here now, like we here, and the ambiance is set. I like to have music playing, like music that makes me happy.
Right.
And have music playing in the background. I gotta smoke. I have to before. I gotta get high. I don't, I don't want to put nobody on weed that don't be smoking already, but that's just me though. I don't do any other drugs. I only smoke weed, but I be happy to be high sometimes, because it's like once I get like high in my element, then I can kind of like really just kind of like coast out during the shoot and really just focus on what it is that we're doing. So that's kind of my little ritual. Some good music and some good weed, and we good to go. And some food. If they got the food.
All right. And you do a lot of traveling. So let's talk about some of the places you've been. You're constantly on the road. You private jet setting. You're doing big things out here. So let's talk about some of the places.
The jet was such a fun experience. Oh, that's crazy. We actually went to Memphis that day. We literally went for a day. Got off the jet, went around Memphis, sightseeing for like 5-6 hours, then got back on, came back to Atlanta.
Wow.
But I've been to a few places. I've been up and down Florida, been to New York, I've been to Vegas, I've been to LA, I've been out of the country, Mexico, Jamaica, where else have I been at? Lord. Where else have I been at? Lord. Lots of places.
Right. Okay.
I'm a traveler, but still got a lot left on the bucket list to go. Half of the places that I really want to go, I haven't even been to yet. Right. So I don't know. Traveling is like really good, for models too, because then you get like a taste of different cultures, and then you get different ideas. You see stuff that you wouldn't see in your hometown, like uh, in Mexico, the little pyramids that they have out there, like just different stuff that give you like inspiration and ideas and shit. So you bring it back to your thinking space, and then you can create off of that. So.
Yeah. That's right there. So what's some places that you want to go shoot? Like what's some places? Maybe Italy, maybe France.
I really want to go to Santorini. I really want to go to
Santorini?
Greece. I really want to go to Thailand. And I really want to go to Tokyo because they have like this Mario Kart thing in Tokyo with the go-karts. And I
Right.
really want to do that. Like, I feel like that would be such a fun shoot to like go with a bunch of friends and everybody get like their little costumes and stuff. And we have like a videographer come out with us. Like,
That would be dope.
video.
That would be dope. So you're doing the Mario Karts, you said?
Yes.
All right. Who you going as?
That's
Who you
bucket
dressing up
list. Peach, come on, man. I'm a princess. The Princess Peach.
Yeah, that would be dope right there, yo. So that's the thing right there. So you said Santorini.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there any other places that you would go to? You want to shoot before it's all over?
I want to go to Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I think Barcelona is really nice. I really want to go to Ghana. I want to move to Ghana, actually. I don't want to live in America.
outta here?
In the next 10 years or so, I want to be out of this country. I'd really love to move to Ghana and live in Ghana and create my family in Ghana, because America is just, I don't know. But I want to go where all the black melanated people that walk around barefoot and eat fruits all day and wear their natural hair out and stuff,
Wow. Okay. So,
over in Africa.
right. So now you're taking me fast, yo. So we got to talk about it. We got to park it right here. Yeah. So you're saying Staxxz, the model, fashion runway, private jets.
Yes.
You said you want to walk around barefoot, go to Ghana, be around your people,
Yes.
be around the melanin,
Yes.
eat fruits. So it's like you enjoy the simple things. What is it about America that's like, hey, you know what, man? I ain't signed up for all this. What is it?
They lie too much for me. The government, they're real shady.
Right.
They're very shady. They're shady. Even with like this whole pandemic, like this
Right.
COVID thing, like they got this vaccine that just popped up out of nowhere for this disease that y'all said y'all had no idea what it was. And then you got stuff like AIDS and all this stuff that's been around for years, and y'all somehow can't come up with a cure for that, and then y'all just come out with this vaccine out of nowhere, then it's just like, oh yeah, everybody take it, it's all good. And it's like, for a country that slogan is the land of the free, it don't feel very free here.
And don't feel it's
It
free
don't
here.
feel very free here at all.
Wow.
So yeah, I want to go where my people is at.
Right.
I want to, go where my people is at, raise my kids around our people, and just build over there. I really want to move out of America. I don't want to live here. Within the next 10 years, by like 30, when it's time for me to retire, I'll be gone. People be like, bye, I'm going to Africa. See y'all once a year, twice a year, and I come back and visit. Other than that, come find me over here.
Okay. So you did your research on it. Why did you pick Ghana?
It's just a really beautiful country. It's a beautiful country. The currency difference is really big, especially if you become, a millionaire over here in America, and then you take your money over to Ghana. It's like you're a mega millionaire, over there versus over here. And then, just the naturalness of it. Because on the flip side of who I am as a person, I'm like really into like the naturalness, staying away from pharmaceuticals, staying away from drugstore products, staying away from like lotions and different stuff like that. Like, I'm a tea drinker, I'm a herbalist. Like, when I don't get sick, when I do get sick, I don't take like aspirin and different stuff like that. Like, over there, you've heard of Dr. Sebi, right?
Right, definitely.
Like over there, that's kind of like just what they practice, like, because that's their culture, natural healing and meditation and the ocean and the different animals and, walking down the street and seeing goats and stuff, chickens running around. Like, that is like an experience for me. Like, that is something real different that you don't see in America. And that's just I feel like that's how life is supposed to be. Like, we should be able to coexist with animals like that, in Mother Nature. And I just feel like over there, because that's what the culture has been for so long, that they really get it. So it's like, just get over there and you mesh with them. It's like, yeah, we out here on the natural wave, like, Mother Nature and taking God's beautiful earth because that's what he put it here for.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, you're dropping jewels. You're dropping jewels. You say, yeah, you're your own herbalist. You don't take the medicine and stuff like that. You get sick, you take care of yourself.
Because
So
I
let me
got
ask
clear
you.
skin like this.
Wow.
No.
All right. Yo, do you want all right, hold on. Because now you're going too fast. You already look like the pictures. Right. Now you said, yo, the skin is definitely glowing. So that's no, you didn't put no makeup or nothing. That's just
I did my eyebrows a little bit. You can see like a little bit of the concealer because I didn't really blend it out because I was trying to hurry up because I was rushing with. As far as my face right now, no, I don't got nothing on my face.
wow.
It's
Can
all-
you come up, give them a close up right quick. So the proof is in the pudding. Let them know.
The proof is in the pudding.
Wow. And you say you do it yourself. You made it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So how can they get it? If they want clear skin, how can you get them right? What do they need to do? Because there's some
Drink a lot
women
of
I can
water.
refer out here.
You gotta drink a lot of water. You have to eat clean. That's another thing. You gotta eat clean.
Right.
Like, I feel like a lot of the food is fake over here. I don't know.
Wow.
I might be tripping, but I feel like over like the last few years, the food quality has gotten very low. I don't know what they feeding us, but it's a lot of toxins and stuff in the food. Eating animals that have been like slaughtered or tortured can lower your internal vibrations. Like, could you imagine like, you intaking something that has suffered and then you gonna eat it, like not saying like not to eat meat or nothing like that, but it's like, we don't really know where a lot of this stuff comes from over here in America. So you just gotta watch what you eat, drink a lot of water, spring water, by the way. I'm like real against purified water because they just be
Spring water.
putting stuff in the water that just ain't, try to stay more on the natural side as much as you can. You can eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables and stuff, but mostly I keep my skin clear because I drink a lot of water. I drink probably like 4 or 5 bottles of water a day now.
4 or 5 bottles of water. So no sodas for you.
I do the sodas,
But you drink
but
your water.
it's like water is like my choice. That's like my drink of choice now. It was at one point to where I couldn't eat like a big meal without having a soda because I felt like I needed that acid to like sit in my stomach to make me burp, or I feel like I gotta throw up. But once you just change your eating habits, it's like, what they say, like you are what you eat. You literally are what you eat. Like, you eat a lot of seafood, you start to smell like seafood, like your private areas, your breath, like don't laugh because I'm being serious.
Right.
You really are what you eat. So if you're eating healthy, it'll show, like even your hair, like the moisture in your hair. When you drink a lot of water, you get more moisture in your hair versus like drinking a lot of like toxic, acidic foods.
Right.
That's how they build fat and stuff. You get all out of whack, all out of shape.
Wow.
So if you want to get on the clear skin wave, drink a lot of water.
Drink a lot of water. Eat healthy. So all right, what's some of your favorite foods then that you like to eat? I see you definitely fit your model, so it's like you got to keep your figure and everything together. So what type of stuff do you eat and what do you stay away from?
I'm trying to stay away from beef and pork. I have not eaten pork in like, it's been a while since I've ate pork. Pork is like, don't eat pork because pigs eat everything. Like chitlins, that is something that I just can't. I can't. And black people love chitlins, and
They love their chitlins.
I've never. It's crazy because I have it on my live on my Instagram right now. My mom's on here and she used to cook chitlins all the time. She can vouch for this. I have never in my life ate chitlins ever.
Wow.
Like disgusting. The intestines of a pig, like pigs eat everything. So like growing up as a kid, I used to eat hot sausages, pickled eggs, stuff, from the corner store and stuff. That stuff is so bad for you, especially pigs. And then beef. Beef has like a lot of cancers and stuff in it. And then what really scared me, I used to watch like slaughterhouse videos. They used to come on like TV and stuff, and they show you like how they in the slaughterhouse and how the animals will have like cancers in it. And they just like cut it out and still just put it on the thing and then sell it to you. Wow. And it's like, now you're eating that stuff. So I try to stay away from pork. I try to stay away from beef. I do still eat chicken, but I eat mostly like chicken, shrimp, and fish. Yeah.
All right. So is it fried chicken or grilled? Or you can
Grilled,
eat the fried? Just grilled, no
grilled,
fried.
grilled. Not no fried at all, but it's kind of like, I mean, you gonna eat.
Right,
You gonna eat. Like, I'm not vegan or nothing. I
right,
ain't against, food. Like, I'm gonna still eat, but it's kind of like if you could watch, portion out what it is that you're eating. Like, if you have fried chicken this week, then you should probably not try to eat anything else fried for the rest of the week. You should try to kind of just balance it out. Just
wow,
keep, everything on a balance. And that's basically what it is. It's kind of like a balance. And then everybody's different. Like I can't really say, oh, you shouldn't eat this, you shouldn't eat that, because stuff that I intake can have a different effect on my body than versus what it has on your body. So I just tell people, like, you gotta kind of just play around with what works for you, because everybody's different.
right. And that's real right there. And the thing is, all right, you're a brand, you're a brand ambassador, you're a model, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a herbalist. I'm listening to you talk. You know what I'm saying? It's like people, they may see the pictures and be like, okay, yeah, they may come up with their conceptions like, oh, she's just a pretty face.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking, I'm listening to you. You got a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom. Was that something that you always had from day one, or is that like wisdom from a lot of experience? I went through a lot of stuff that made me a little wise for my age.
I went through a lot of stuff.
Right.
I went through a lot of stuff. Like I said, I had entrepreneurs for parents. Like, they were always working. I was that kid. Like I said, it was almost as if I was like an only child, because my sister was in college. My other brother and sister, they lived with their mom. So like I got into a lot of stuff at a very young age. Like, I lost my virginity at 13. Not because, I was being fast, but really because I just didn't really know any better like that. So it was like I just went through a lot of stuff by making decisions and learning from them, and then just moving past it. So my wisdom comes from just going through stuff. Like I said, I went to rough schools. Like, I'm in
Right.
school in 6th grade with girls that are pregnant, and gangs, and boys sagging their pants and fighting in school every day. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff.
Wow.
Being in the hood, shootouts and drive-bys and all kinds of stuff. Like, and my mom probably looking at this live like, what the hell? I don't know nothing about none of this stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like, I used to get out of school and sneak to the hood, like, with my cousins and stuff, playing football and stuff in the hood. And it's like, you got stuff going on. You got people having sex in school. You got all kinds of stuff going on. It's just like, I was kind of like not forced to grow up fast, but I was forced to grow up fast.
Right.
Like, it's just me out here. I don't really got no siblings. I don't really got, nobody really looking out for me as far as like a mentor or somebody over me to say, yo, like, don't do that. Or don't, whatever like that. So my wisdom just comes from being in a lot of situations and always feeling alone. So I just started to read a lot. Like, I've always been a reader.
Wow.
Reading books and stuff, reading up on stuff. If I'm interested in something, I'm gonna research it and fall down a rabbit hole until I can't fall no more.
All right. So
Say about the government. Trust them. They be lying, bro.
right. It's so much out there. Like you said, it becomes a rabbit hole. So you said you like to read. So who are some of your favorite authors, and what type of books do you like to read?
I was a really big Harry Potter fan back in the day. And those
Big
were
Harry
some really
Potter.
those were some really thick books.
Right.
I was a Harry Potter fan. There was these books I had in high school. They were called the Buford series. Now that series was like a real eye opener for me, because I feel like it was written by a lot of Black authors,
Right.
and illustrators, but the storylines in those books were so realistic to like stuff that was really happening in school, like getting pregnant young, or being in situations and like STDs and like learning about all kinds of stuff like that series. Like I said, that series was like my favorite series ever. And if I can find that series today, I'll buy the whole thing and just keep it in my house. But Buford, that's like one of the ones that really stuck with me like throughout the years, because it really showed like how you could get yourself into a situation and learn your lesson while you're in the situation, and then overcome the situation and move on. Like,
Wow.
each book had like its own little story behind it. And I think it's about like 16 different books in that series. So that was like one of my favorites in school. Like, I was always reading Buford books.
Okay, and you definitely did it. So let me ask you, you say you was growing up in both worlds. You had the family work and the entrepreneur side, but then you also had the family members that's in the neighborhood. The school is in the neighborhood. So you're getting influenced on both sides.
Yes.
How did you stay focused? Because like a lot of 24-year-old women, they not flying jets, they're not owning businesses. So what did you do different? And how did you stay focused to not get caught up in some of the traps out here?
I just knew I didn't want to be broke. And like I said, I have two entrepreneur parents that got up every day and grinded for everything that they had. Like I grew up in a house on a cul-de-sac, 2-story house. A lot of people ain't had no 2-story house when I had, back in the day. And then,
Right.
I didn't want for nothing either. Like if I ever really wanted something growing up, I knew that I could get it from my parents, whether I had to get good grades or, do certain stuff to get those things. I just knew that the people that were in the hood, I didn't want to live like that.
Right.
I didn't want to live in poverty like that. So I understood why my parents did what they did to get themselves out of that environment and place me where we was at. But then it's kind of like seeing it from both sides, having family that lived in the hood and didn't have much. And then it's like I come from kind of like not basically having a silver spoon in my mouth, but got a silver spoon in my mouth. It was kind of just like I'd be going backwards
Right.
if this was to turn out any other way. Because I had it's kind of like you're literally looking at two worlds. So it's kind of like, which one do you want to live in? Do you want to live in the one where you're struggling and it's a lot going on all the time and you're always stressed out about this and that? Or do you want to live on this side where you got to grind for a little bit, but the reward of that is kind of like bliss in life? So that just kind of kept me focused. Like, I know I don't want to live like below the lines. Like, I want to have my own stuff. I want to drive nice things. I want to wear nice clothes. I want to be able to afford what I want, buy what I want, do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. So that was like my motivation, to just stay on track and not fall back. And then, my one of my sisters, like, she got pregnant in high school. And, even seeing that as an example, like, I knew I didn't want to be a mom young.
Right.
I knew for a fact I didn't want to be a mom young. Like, no, like, I got cousins. I got too many examples of people that are young moms, and it's just like, no, your life seems so stressful. I'm good off that.
Right.
So it's kind of like you got it there, you can see it. So it's kind of like you always got a choice. You just have a choice, and my choice was I want to live a good life while I'm here. I want to be able to do what I want to do. And then growing up in America, a place like this, you slowly begin to realize, like, you got to have some money out here. That's the only thing that moves mountains. Like, you could be in any situation. Like, I've seen, you see like billionaires and millionaires, they get in situations, tax evasion, predator cases, and they just pay somebody, sweep it under the rug, get it thrown away or whatever, because kind of like, that's just what runs the world, like that currency, that dead people on a piece of paper, like you got to get that. So it's kind of like, I got this example of people in the hood, and then I got this life that I live on the other side of the street in my 2-story house with my computer in my room and my TV. Like, niggas ain't had no computers in their room in middle school. I had a whole desktop.
Right.
So I feel like this Instagram stuff, this social media stuff, like I've been out here on this internet stuff, like, since I was like 12, 13, like, it is crazy because Soulja Boy is like really trending right now. Like how he started a whole bunch of stuff. Like I grew up on Soulja Boy. Like I was on YouTube when Soulja Boy first came out and debuted his stuff. And then it's like, that's the life I want to live. I just knew I always wanted the most out of life, basically.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You definitely got your head together. So I know you said when you were young, you was definitely in the theatrics and stuff like that. So like if some of the books that you read in your early beginnings, if you can reenact it and do whether a play or movie, what's one role you would do?
Playing a movie. Told you I was a big Harry Potter fan. I love to go to Hogwarts and be a little witch, learn about all the magic magic and stuff and flying on brooms and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, I reenact that out real good because it kind of like live that life for real. Like, I really pray, I really manifest, I really talk to God, like I really hear voices and stuff. Like, I'm really into that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I could be in a Harry Potter movie. And they'd probably be like, dang, is she acting or is she for real?
Right. Okay.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So that's the thing right there. So, all right, yo, you definitely on another level right there. So how did you get to spirituality the way it is?
My mom always kept me in church growing up. She tried to keep me in the church. My dad, he wasn't really big on the whole church thing. So it kind of became like a split, like, okay, like, why is it that my mom is so like into the word and it's like my dad has like his own perception. So I started to kind of just like dig into like the religion aspect. Where does religion come from? Who started this?
Right.
Who wrote the Bible? Why are there so many different versions of it? It has been rewritten so many times over the years. I just started to kind of just dive again into the rabbit hole of religion and just came to find out that like God or source or whatever you want to call it isn't really, in my opinion, again, don't perceive none of this as facts. It's just me. This is what I think. But it wasn't it's not, source isn't really how it was taught to us as far as like Christianity. Like, we were slaves at the end of the day. Like, we were enslaved and we were forced to learn Christianity. Like, Africans and us as Black people, like, we had our own practices long before Christianity and all of that stuff came about. Like, and it's called witchcraft and stuff, like burning sage or using natural herbs and stuff to heal the body. Like Dr. Sebi, had his natural remedies and stuff, and it was like, it's a reason that type of information is kept from us as a people, because it is really powerful at the end of the day. Like, so just praying, talking to God myself, getting my own understanding of what this life is, what my purpose is, why are we here, like how did all of this come about. It kind of just put me in a trance almost, where it's just like, I need to know more. I need to know what spirit is. I need to know who God is. Like, is it a person? Is it a man? Is it a female? Is it an entity? Is it a spirit? Like, rabbit hole. Because I could go on about it all day long.
And that's the
I could go
that's
on
the
about
thing.
it all day long. But as far as like the spirituality part goes, it just comes from a point that I know for a fact Christianity isn't what us as Black people practiced before we were enslaved by, the white people. So it was kind of like, I got to look past that and really dig into the roots of what life is. And then you just come to realize of how connected everything is and how everything corresponds and how everything in life happens for a reason, even if you don't understand right then and there, what that reason is. Everything is, connected. So spirituality for me kind of saved my life, honestly.
Wow.
To know that you as a person, like, even though you're living, you're having a human experience, everybody has like a divine purpose, and trying to have like complete control over every little aspect in your life will just create chaos. So it's kind of like, it kind of humbled me in a way to know, like, you just kind of go with the flow and let God guide you, and let the universe just pan things out in the way that it was supposed to go anyways, because everything happens for a reason, literally everything.
That's a fact right there. So, all right, let me ask you, when you're not being a businesswoman, when you're not in model mode, how do you spend your time, and what's a normal day for Staxxz?
Normal day for me, I ain't gonna lie, I like to sleep a lot. It may not seem like it, because just as much as I'm busy, I be sleep. I like to sleep a lot, but I don't know, I'm an experiences person. Like, I like to shop. I like to do little things. I like to go out to bars with my friends, or, go chill, hang. I like to do, like, anything really. Go ride scooters in the park, go take a walk, get up, drink some tea. I'm a big tea head. I gotta have my cup of tea every morning. That's another thing that keeps me really healthy. Like drinking teas with herbs and spices and stuff that's good for like your immune system. I drink teas. I watch YouTube videos depending on what it is I'm learning about. Like lately, my focus has been cryptocurrency and NFTs because I am an artist. I am a graphic designer, and NFTs is like the wave of cryptocurrency art or crypto art, like the future of crypto art. So getting into that stuff. So I'll get up, I'll watch like educational videos, YouTube videos, or, read up on stuff. Maybe I'll get up and create something, make a trade, or I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing until I get up, if that makes sense.
Just like a free spirit.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like I'm just never like in a box. Like I don't even have a daily routine. I just get up and do whatever it is when I wake up. Like today, I done woke up at 4 o'clock. The damn day is gone. Now we got X amount of hours left to get whatever it is I can get done, you know? And I feel like time is kind of like an illusion as well because the world operates during the day, but who says that you have to operate during the day? That's another reason that I became my own brand because I don't want nobody telling me when I can wake up, go to sleep, go on break, go to pee, eat lunch. None of that. Like, I always felt like 9 to 5 was just like, what? Every day? I gotta get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and do the same thing, like every day? Like,
I feel you on that. You don't like repetition. So, all right, you're a graphic designer as well and an artist. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about how you went from model to artist and then how did you get into graphic design?
Well, like I said, when I was in middle school, I was in that program for technology. I always knew how to draw. My dad knows how to draw. I don't know if it's like a trait, like hereditary or whatever, but he's an architect, an electrical engineer. So he's really good with drawing. My brother can draw really well. I was one of the ones out of my 2 sisters. They can't really draw that well, but us 3, we're more of like the artists out of the family. I've always drew or doodled, drew little stuff. I don't know. I'm just a creative, like all the way around. The artistic part kind of just came effortlessly. Like I've always been a drawer. I've always did art classes in school or digital design or like any type of elective that was artistic. I wanted to do that in school or like music or anything that's like where you could just kind of like express yourself. I was into all of that stuff. Like since school days. Like I don't care what nobody say, I had the best school projects every year. Science fair, I was coming with it. I was coming with it and I was very strategic. And then that's another thing, like my niche, I wait the last minute for everything. And again, like I said, everybody's different, but that's what works for me. Under pressure, when I know I have like a deadline to meet or something, that's like one of my best artistic thoughts come out. It's kind of like you got to get this done, so you got to figure it out. Like I used to do my science fair project. You know, science projects. You get your science project like 2 months before it's due. In school, I used to wait like the week of or 2 weeks before, because you know most of the time if I started too early, I start and then days will go by and I see different stuff either out in the world or on TV, and then I get inspired and it's like, oh no, I want to do this or da da da. So then it became to where it was just like I used to just wait. I used to go to school and everybody used to talk about what project they doing, you know, how kids do. Oh, well, I'm doing the Mentos and the Coke experiment. I'm doing this. I used to go and like take mental notes of what everybody else was doing. It's like, okay, this person doing that, this person doing that. Like, I don't want to do that because they doing that already. They done showed this. Or I done see, you know, somebody that came and showed pictures of their project. It's like, oh, that's fine. Like, I'm about to take a piece of that. So it's kind of like everything I do, I take like pieces of a whole bunch of stuff and kind of just mesh it all together into like my own little thing.
And that's it's working for you. So let me ask you, okay, science fair projects and stuff like that. That was a big thing growing up. What was one of your favorite ones?
My favorite science fair project, I did a what was that project that I did? And I got a good ass grade on that project too. What was that project? I can't even remember. I can't even remember, but I know it was a really good grade. I got a really good grade on that project.
Okay.
Hold on, let me see if it's gonna come to me. If it don't come to me in like the next 30 seconds, then I forgot. My brain
Alright.
capacity, the stuff that goes in my head, my brain moves like 1,000 miles a minute. So trying to think back to a science fair project,
Right.
I don't know. But I can think of this one project that I did, and I remember it because my mom helped me. She was so pissed. She was pissed off at me. This was the night before it was due.
Oh wow.
And I stayed up, I want to say probably till like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was in elementary school. I stayed up till like 2 o'clock in the morning doing this project. It was a book report.
Right.
But back then, the way we did book reports, we did it on a cereal box. So you had the cereal box, you get the cereal box, and then you put the cover of the book on the front of the cereal box. You put the synopsis on the back of the cereal box, and then on the side, you put like all the characters and everything. And I remember I did Junie B. Jones. I did this Junie B. Jones book, and she was just so impressed because I drew the cover of the book on paper by just looking at the book. You know, like I didn't have anything to trace.
Right.
And when I brought my project to class, my teacher was just like, "Oh my God, like you drew this?" And I was like, "Yeah, last night." Like,
Wow.
yeah, last night. So yeah,
Right.
I'll never forget that project. And I remember because my mom helped me. She was helping me cut out all the construction paper and stuff to stick on the box and cussing me out. She's like, "You know, wait the last minute to do everything. Like, why would you, wait the night before to get this project done?" I never get that project.
Yeah. That's
But
crazy.
it was like it was like the best one in the class. Like, if people had to be working on their project for weeks, and I just came up with this in a few hours, like, and it was a book that I had already read. Like the books that was on the, you know how they give you like the list of the
Right.
books that you could choose from. I hadn't read any of them books. I just happened to have already read this Junie B. Jones book, which is why I picked that one. I was like, we about to rock with this one. So when I go in there, it's time for me to do my book report. I don't go up there looking stupid like I don't know what I'm talking about because I actually did read this book.
Right.
May not remember every little thing. I remember just skimming through it to get little key components out of it to put on my project. But
Right. And you pulled it off. Okay.
I
So
remember
you
that
always
project
been
like back of my hand.
so you always been ahead of the game. You always been on top of it. So what was the transition like leaving Florida, going to Atlanta? What was the differences? Some differences.
I'm not gonna lie, I was depressed in Atlanta when I first got there for a long time. I
Wow.
moved up in a relationship.
Right.
Um, I didn't move directly to Atlanta when I first moved up there. I moved out in Conyers, which is about like 35, 40 minutes outside of the city.
Right.
And when I got up there, it was kind of just like, I gotta find a way to make some money. I knew I didn't want to have a job. Again, I never liked 9 to 5s. I knew I
Right.
didn't want to work for nobody. So for a while, I was broke. I
Wow.
was broke in Atlanta, like, for a while. Like, I would say, like, my first year up there, like, it was really, like, penny pinching. Like, trying to
Right.
figure it out. Because, like, okay, I moved up here with money, but that went like that. Like,
Right.
and then I got a place up there. And I was like, oh, I got to figure this out. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. And then it just became to where it's just like networking, going out, meeting people, linking up with people, collabing on projects. So it was tough at first. Like I was homesick. I wanted to just give it up. Like, man, I want to go back to Palm Beach, get my
Right.
job back at Twin Peaks, and just,
Right.
rock it out like that. But I'm just like, nah, like I can't do that. Like I moved up here for a reason. Like I can't, pussy out and just go back
Right.
home to Florida. So
Wow.
it was tough in the beginning, but you just gotta stay focused on the end goal. Like I had to really teach myself, like anything that you want out of life that's gonna be worth it ain't gonna be easy at all. Like if it comes too easy, it's probably not gonna be worth it in the end. But when you work really hard for something and then you get like that final result, it's like, oh yes, I did it.
Right.
Mm.
And that's the thing. You're definitely doing it. Okay. So you said it was kind of tough. You stayed focused. You said about looking at the end goal, right? So looking back at some of them hard times and the moments where it's like, yo, you know what? Maybe this ain't the right idea. How did you stay focused? I know you said looking at the end goal, but how did you keep your spirits and stuff up? and make it through? Because a lot of people throw their hands up. A lot of people say, you know what, yo, I know this ain't working. I gave it my best. I'm going back home. How did you make it through?
Constantly telling myself if I went back home, it'll all be for nothing.
Right.
Like, it would have all been for nothing. Like, I'm about to go back home and do what I was doing before I moved up here. And clearly I moved up here because what I was doing before wasn't enough. So it was kind of like, you know, it would just be all for nothing. Like, I just had to just keep reminding myself, like, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Like, even if I didn't always know what I was doing or what I was expecting out of a situation, it was kind of just like I just threw myself into stuff and just had faith, basically.
Wow.
And then, you know, just educating myself, keeping myself educated on what it was that I was, you know, doing or getting into. I just knew I didn't want to go back home for real. Because I moved out of there. Like, I got out. And Palm Beach is a hard place to get out of. Like, your hometown's a hard place to get out of because you got your whole family there. And, you know, you don't want to leave your family, your grandma, your cousins, your sister, your mom and stuff. Like, I left everybody. I was like, shoot, bye.
I'm out of here. I'm going to sink or swim. Like, I got to go. So it's like you're
so
chasing
it's kind
it.
of just like you ain't come this far to just give up and turn back. Like, that just wasn't an option because it would have been like, what was the point of this at all? It wasn't one. Right. So I just had to constantly tell myself, like, you're only struggling now because this is something new to you. You just ain't mastered it yet. It's kind of just like when you start to learn like a new skill or a new craft, or you start educating yourself on a new topic. You know, you're not going to know everything in the beginning. You just got to keep working towards it. Like, nobody just became genius at what they do overnight. Even if you have, like, you know, like, people have, like, natural singing abilities where they can, like, sing really well. I use Chloe and Halle, for example. Like, they're amazing singers. Clearly, they've been born with that gift, but still, in order for them to get to where they're at now, they had to do vocal coaching. They had to do artist development. They had to learn the industry. Like, they didn't just dive in and become who they are without doing a whole bunch of hard work behind the scenes. Like, everything takes like that extra, you know, that extraness behind it. So I just had to keep myself motivated. Like, you know, even though I'm doing this by myself and I'm out here kind of like alone, what I got to lose, basically.
Right. And that's the thing right there. So I'm listening to your story. I see where you are now, right? I hear like a fearlessness. I know you're definitely confident, but you always wasn't that way. How did you become who you are? Like, how did you go from, and I know you say you still deal with anxiety and stuff like that, but that's different. When it comes to, I'm going to make it happen. You made it happen. You stuck and you stayed. Comes the confidence representing your brand. Even up here, it's like you're a sex symbol, almost like a beauty representative. So it's like, how did you make the transition from that to who you are now? Is it like, you know, meditating, keeping good energy, affirmations? How did you become who you are?
Realizing that at the end of the day, you damn if you do and you damn if you don't. Like, no, seriously. And I feel like people really let that slogan go over their head. Like, at the end of the day, and I tell people this all the time, like, I don't believe that anybody can tell somebody what's best for them. Because you don't wake up and you don't walk in that person's shoes for them. Like, even though my mom or my dad or like my elders could feel like they just know what's best for me because they experienced so much before I did, it's kind of just like everybody was put here with their own divine path and purpose. So it's kind of like, because it turned out that way for you, don't mean that it'll turn out that way for me. Or because you went through this doesn't mean that I'm going to go through that. So it's kind of just like, you got to be strong in your head to know that something that you want to do, you can't let nobody tell you that you're not capable or that's not for you or you should be going in a different direction, because it's kind of like, you can't say that. You don't wake up for me. You don't live in my body. You don't share my brain with me. Like, you don't, you know, walk in my shoes. So you just got to stay like in that trance of, I got this, because when it's all said and done, It's only room for one person in your casket.
Right.
You're only gonna answer for yourself when it's all said and done. Like you're not gonna, people say, you go judgment day, like, religion say God's gonna judge you. Da-da-da. You ain't gonna be able to sit up in front of God and say, well, my mama said no.
Right.
You made that choice. At the end of the day, everything that happens in your life is a result of a choice that you made. That's just like, people could say they're peer pressured and stuff. I ain't never been peer pressured into nothing I don't want to do. If I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. Like, that's just dead. Like, people like, you have to kill me. Like, nah, for real. Like, I really live by that. Like, you have to kill me because if it's not something that I want to do, I'm just not going to do it. And I've always been that way. Like, that's just always been me. So, like, the confidence comes from just knowing that at the end of the day, people going to talk about you whether you're doing good. People going to talk about you whether you're doing bad. People talk about the most successful people in the world. People talked about Jesus. They stoned him, hung him up on a cross, killed him, do all that stuff. And all he did was try to spread love and light in the world. And they still crucify him like he was just the worst person out here. So it's kind of just like, as long as you're happy and you're content with what it is that you're doing, can't nobody tell me nothing. Like,
Right. And that's a beautiful thing right there. So let me ask you, now that you fast forward, you said in the beginning, it was a moment where it's like, yo, I'm ready to go back home. But now you fast forward to what you're doing now. You say you start networking, more opportunities start happening.
mm-hmm.
What were some of your best moments now looking back
As far as when moving to Atlanta,
since you've been in Atlanta?
just meeting people that align with my purpose and what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm out in South Carolina right now with one of my good friends because she has an artist camp coming up next week. So we're actually preparing for that. Like, being able to be involved in something like that, like an artist camp where I'll be in a house with a bunch of creatives and producers and artists and engineers and graphic designers, just the networking of it all. I feel like in this life, you get way further in life with connections. It's all about who you know. You know people that are connected and can elevate you and are genuine, got good energy. That was like my highlight for me, like finally just stepping out and just networking and meeting people, weeding out the people that didn't align, keeping the people that did, and then it kind of keeps you motivated to keep going because now you got people in your circle that's also working towards a goal or also working towards something bigger in life, and it keeps you motivated, because you got a circle of people around you. You got like that support system. So my highlight was like finding like a support system in Atlanta. Like, I could say like my friends, we all got our own thing going on. Like, even if we all don't share like the same exact goals, we just know that we got an end goal at the end of the day and we got to work to get there.
Right.
So we can help each other in any way, work to get there, and that's what we gonna do. So that's my highlight, like just finding the right people, because everybody needs somebody, Like, I felt alone for a long time when I moved to Atlanta because I moved up there. I didn't have no family up there. I mean, I had my cousins and stuff out in Conyers, but that's just so much. Like, they already got, their stuff established or what they got going on or, stuff like that. So it's just, finding that group of people that just align with what it is that you're trying to do that can help you elevate yourself.
Okay, so you got the support system and all that. Okay, what's 5 things you want to accomplish before it's all said and done?
Five things I want to accomplish before it's all said and done. Definitely want to leave my mark on the planet.
Right.
I definitely want to leave my mark. I want to spread as much love and positivity as I can because the world really needs it. I feel like there's not enough love circulating, especially these days. I do want to own a few properties. That's like one of my things. I want to own a few properties. I want to make sure I leave things behind for my children to keep the legacy going. Definitely want to leave behind something. Ultimately, I just want to leave my mark. make sure people remember who I was and what I stood for, and just leave like a positive image behind before it's all said and done. If I can do that, like if I was to die today, I feel like people will remember me as somebody that was just always in good spirits and
Right.
cracked jokes and was fun to be around and stuff like that. So I can't, again, I feel like this is 5 things. I can't really limit
I
to
mean,
5 things. I feel like
that's
I'm back in the box again. Like
now you
5
get.
things.
I mean, I like it. I like it, yo. So much you want to do,
Oh,
and then actually you answered my next question because I was going to say, and from the 5 things, like okay, you're talking about a lot of healing the world, giving from yourself. You know, you're giving a lot of love to people, spreading love and stuff like that, making your mark. You're already doing those things. So let me ask, okay. They say sometimes the person with the biggest smile, the person that's always making everybody else smile, they feel the worst pain. Or the one that's always encouraging everybody else, they don't always have somebody to encourage. Is that true? And I
that's
know
right.
you say you have a team around you now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, so you're in Atlanta, things are going good.
Mm-hmm.
You're encouraging other people. You're happy now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So from the year to now, besides making the network, besides making the people, what has changed that's put you in a happy space now?
Releasing control over my situation. Like I said, everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a reason that they're here. So I kind of just really had to just ground myself and really talk to God and say, look, this is what I want. This is what I desire. I don't know if this is what you desired for me, but I had to release control at some point, because when you try to control every little aspect of your life, you just create more chaos, in my opinion. And just giving out, even though I didn't always feel like I had that, person in my ear motivating me, how I would motivate other people, just putting out that type of energy into the atmosphere, it will always, make its way back to you. Even if it doesn't come back in the same form, like just because, I motivate people doesn't mean I necessarily get people to motivate me. It could come in a different form, like because I'm putting out this love into the world, somebody stumbles upon an opportunity. And then it's like they're not fit for the opportunity, but because I was so genuine to them and I was so, open and, encouraging to them, it's like, oh, well, let me call, Chanel. She may be, interested in like a lot of stuff that I'll be getting into be from connections of other people, because they just genuinely love me as a person in my spirit. So it's kind of like it comes back,
Wow.
tenfold, versus like, having that motivation in your ear to keep going is great and all, but it ain't as great as an actual opportunity being like presented on the table. Like,
Right.
I had a friend, her name's Blue. She had a girl reach out to her to do a promotion campaign that happened to reside in Atlanta. She don't live in Atlanta. She lives in LA.
Okay.
And she called me up. She was like, hey, I have this girl that reached out to me, but she's in Atlanta. You're in Atlanta. Like, you should link up with her. And I done linked up with her. And me and her have been collabing on stuff ever since. So it's kind of like that energy that I put out, it just always finds its way back to me. So.
Right. And that's the thing. You definitely have a good energy, definitely positive person, good head on your shoulders. You're doing things. So it's like, let's talk about the website and the brand real quick. I don't want to hold you too long.
Mm-hmm. So Staxxz the brand, I named it Staxxz the brand because, like I said, I go by Chanel Staxxz, and I don't want to put myself in a box. I can do anything under this brand. I could branch off into different things. I could release music under this brand. I could release products. I could release clothes. I could release literally anything under the sun that I want under my name, especially if it was created by me. So that's why I came up with the name Staxxz the brand, to just go with that. It's I do everything. I do websites, I do graphics, I do flyers, I do mixtape covers, I do album covers, I do drawings, I do logos, I do physical art, home decor. I brought a table from Goodwill that I actually refurbished, and that was like my first time ever refurbishing furniture, just doing things. And it's like I could do something, and I could literally just stamp Staxxz the brand on it because that's my name and I made it and it's my brand.
Wow.
So that's where the name comes from. As far as the creative aspect, I don't really know where it's gonna go from here because it could literally go in any direction. Like Staxxz the brand LLC, like I could branch off into all kinds of horizons under like this one umbrella that I
Right.
created. So the brand is just a reputation of me, because that's, again, I don't like to put myself in a box. So it's kind of like people hear Staxxz the brand, it's like, huh, what does that mean? And then you go and it's like, oh shoot, she do this, she do this, that, and that. You know, it's kind of like at first my name was Bougie Bar
Wow.
when I was making drinking products. At first, when I first started doing resin art, and then I started again. Like I said, I like to watch YouTube videos and stuff. You know, whatever it is that I'm into. Then I started getting into resin art and making rolling trays and smoke accessories. I smoke weed, obviously. Why wouldn't I want to make smoking accessories? Like I'm like, okay, but that doesn't really fall under bar. That cap, like from that word, was just limiting me. So I had to get rid of that, and then I came back and rebranded. I was like, okay, I'm Staxxz a brand now, and I sell this, and that, and I do all of this too. So
Wow.
that's the brand. The brand is just a walking reputation of me.
Right.
So whatever I put out, whatever I want to sell, whether it's a song, whether it's a graphic, whether it's a physical product, it falls under that umbrella of Staxxz the brand because I am Chanel Staxxz.
Yeah.
Period.
You're definitely doing it, yo. Again, I appreciate you, yo, for your time. I know you got a lot going on. Can I ask you two more questions and we done? Two more and I'm done.
Of course,
I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm playing like the church people. Like, yeah, we out of here in 5 more minutes. Nah, but for real, where do you want to be in 10 years from now?
In 10 years, I want to be. In 10 years, like I told you, I want to be living in Ghana. I want to get out of this place. I want a house on the beach. I want a house in the city. I want a house in the forest. And I want a house in the mountains.
Wow.
Honestly, I just want to travel. I want to experience the world. I want to experience life. I feel like a lot of people don't get to experience life while they're here. You know, I'm going to run up some money. I'm young. I got all the adrenaline, all the energy to work 12, 14, 16 hours a day, go to sleep, take a nap for 2 hours, 3 hours, get back up and be right back on it. You know, so for the next 10 years, it's just going to be me grinding, stacking up my money. But really, I want to create a residual income, a passive income to where I don't have to physically work. I need for my money to make itself while I'm asleep.
Right.
And I just want to travel and enjoy and just do whatever I want to do. Like the American dream is you work 60 plus years, retire, get your retirement check. And I feel like, what? Like, you wasted 60 years of your life working? Like, no. And it's like, especially nowadays with the internet, like, there's way too many ways to make money. Like, it's 15, 16-year-olds out here making 6 figures on YouTube.
Right.
There's way too many ways to make money. So my ultimate goal, like, in my 30s, I want to be traveling the world, you know.
Right.
As far as like relationships and stuff, I'm not really focused on that right now. It's kind of like if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. It's not something I'm really, pressed to have. I'd love to have a family though, a family that stays a family. Of course, I really value that. That's why I don't have any kids right now. I refuse to bring a child into this world without being married first because I wasn't brought into the world under 2 single parents. My parents were married when they brought me into the world. So I don't want to bring my child up in anything less than I was brought up in. So I really value that. That's why I'm like really like anti like, no, can't be, a young mom or a single mom, not to say that, when you get married that things can't go left, but if I could take that extra, precaution to try to make that happen for myself, that's something that I really desire. But ultimately, like in 10 years, I just want to be comfortable enough to do whatever I want to do. If I want to wake up and hop on a jet and go to Paris for breakfast or brunch,
Right.
I can do that. That's the goal.
And no limitations on you. So okay, I know you got a heart for people. Humanitarian, it sounds like. You want to change things, right? So this is the last one. This is the big one. It don't have nothing to do with the model and nothing to do with the brand. It's just a world question. All right. What's your take on the way of the world, the way that it is right now, with the pandemic going on, with the deaths of the Black community? What's your take on it? And what words do you have for the men watching and the women that might see this?
Educate yourselves. Educate yourselves. You know, like the pandemic, I feel like it exposed a lot in the world going on right now. It exposed the strong, it exposed the weak, it exposed the hustlers, it exposed the dependents, it exposed the people that are here to just play their role as the sheep. It exposed the people that are here to play their role as the leaders. But ultimately, in this life, you got to stay educated on what's going on. You know, like with the pandemic, when it first came out, and it was like, oh yeah, you know, y'all gotta stay home. Y'all stay in the house in order to, you know, stop the spread. But y'all telling me I stay home, stay in the house to stop a spread of a virus that's not even airborne.
Right. Wow.
How does that make sense? And then me being a herbalist and knowing how the immune system works, if I stay in my house and I'm only intaking my own AC, my own atmosphere, the people that's in here for say X amount of weeks at a time, or I'm in the house because I done went to the grocery store and stocked up, and then now I'm in the house for 3 weeks, and then I go out into the world. Now I'm going out exposing myself to all this different air and everybody breathing and plants and all this other stuff. It's kind of like, yeah, of course you're gonna get sick because your immune system's really weak now
No.
because
Right.
you've been in the house.
Wow.
It's just like the vaccine. The vaccine is a diluted version of the virus itself to make your body immune to it. So it's kind of like, if that is how it works, and you know, people that say educate yourself.
Right.
If you put something in a vaccine to make someone immune to it so their body can fight back against it, why would you tell me to stay in the house?
Right.
And not expose myself to something like that? I feel like that's like backwards. Like, now I've been in the house, now I've been only in my own space. So then when I go out into the world, you know, somebody got a slight cough or something, you know, small, my immune system is so used to just breathing in the air. Like, I ain't been out into the world to breathe, you know, the air that everybody else done been operating in.
Right.
And of course I'm gonna get sick. Like, I done been outside this whole pandemic. I ain't been in the house this whole time. You gotta
Yeah.
get it. You just gotta know when you're being deceived and know when you're being lied to, because this is a world of greed. Really, like, this world revolves around greed and money and power, and just everybody wants to have it all for themselves, especially the real big guys at the top that run this whole thing. Like, they just want it all for themselves. So it's kind of like, if you can find a way to build your fortune and get out the way and just, you know, stay to yourself, stay to the people that are close to you and that care about you and look after you, then I feel like your life could really be bliss. And you could cut out a lot of the extra stuff that a lot of people deal with, because you've created something that nobody can put a limit on for you. You know, like, you become a millionaire tomorrow, you do so much with $1 million. Like,
Right.
you created that, nobody can take it away from you. And then you get out the way, you move out the way. Like, that's my biggest goal right now. I just want to make some money and get out the way, because the stuff that's going on out here is getting real weird. It's getting real. Like, the Bible,
Right.
yeah, they was spot on with Revelations, because it's happening like now, like in front of our eyes.
Understand it?
It's happening. So my advice to everyone is to just find what it is that you really want out of this life and work towards it. And don't let nobody throw you off your, you know, off your pedestal of what it is that you're trying to do. Just stay focused and try your best to just be a good person. You know, you can't lose that way. You know, they say the good guys finish last. We didn't finish last. That's cool, but I'm still content with who I am at the end of the day. And I could go to sleep at night and wake up and be happy in the position that I'm in, knowing that I'm doing my best. I'm sharing the love, I'm sharing the light, and just keep it going that way. So that's like my thing that I
Wow.
live by. Because a lot of the things in this world, like, you know, we really don't have no control over. Like, big pharma and, you know, the pandemic and this big world reset, like, they've been planning this for decades. Like, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than us. But if you can get your little piece out of it and stay within your community and just stay within, you know, the people that share the same views as you and, you know, be around, you know, the people that really love you and care about you, I feel like you could really, you know, still live a really good life at the end of the day,
Right.
despite everything that's going on.
That's
So,
very true. Yeah. And again, that's dope right there, yo. And I appreciate you coming through, yo. I knew you was gonna kill it. I've been telling people all week, like, yo, you're doing big things. But I want to take this moment to salute you, right? Because not only are you a business owner, you're a Black woman. You're uplifting other people. You know what I'm saying? People sometimes y'all get a bad rap. They say, oh, she's pretty, she's bougie, bad attitude.
I get that a
You're
lot.
you're totally opposite.
Yeah, I get
It's
that
like,
a
yeah,
lot.
you do your thing in the business, but it's like you have that girl next door. You have that good spirit around you. You have a good energy. And it's like you get joy out of helping other people. And I think it's just my opinion. I think those people always wind up winning because it's like it's not for self gain. I want to be large. I want to do this. It's like what I get from you is you want to be comfortable, but you don't need all the bells and fireworks and all the
Y'all
extra
need all the
distractions.
extra stuff.
Right. And that's the
That's why,
thing.
and that's another reason why I haven't really dived head into modeling. 'Cause I don't really think I can handle being famous for real. Like, these people will be out here getting crucified for the littlest things. Like,
Right.
this, I seen on Twitter today, like, they was bashing one of these influencers because she had her 4-year-old sitting in the front seat of the car instead of the back seat. And it's kind of like, bro, you a normal nigga. Like, you do stuff like that. Like, I be seeing y'all kids all in the back standing up, throwing stuff around, all in the back window. Like, and it's just like, you know, when you become a celebrity, it's kind of like people hold you to like this standard. Like, you're just supposed to be perfect all the time. And it's like, no, I can't. I don't got the mental capacity to deal with that. So that's like another reason where it's kind of like what I'm getting, the people that rock with me, they supposed to be rocking with me because my platform gets any bigger, people start coming at me talking crazy and be like, look now.
It ain't going down
Look,
like that.
this ain't that.
Right.
This ain't that. So yeah.
That's the thing, you're doing it organically, and I know you're gonna go far because you got your head on your shoulder. You got a plan. You're putting your plan in action. You're making it happen. You're making it work, yo. So, yo, I just from a Black man to a Black woman, I want to salute you. Say, job well done. I don't know a lot of women your age that's in your position, and it's like the thing is, people may see the flyer and say, well, yo, she had it handed to her. You just broke down. You had to pay a price to get where you are. So it's like anybody watching is like that should be motivation to them. And I know that's one of your things you want to inspire and motivate people as well. So I salute you. If it's anything that we may have forgot, I'm gonna allow you to say that your final words, and if you got any shout outs, anything like that, you can say that now.
Oh, shout out to my parents because they've been on my live this whole time on Instagram. They've been watching.
Salute to them. That's what's up.
Salute to them for raising the goat.
Right.
Yeah, but no, just shout out to, you know, everybody that rocks with me. I'm really open if anybody wants to reach out to me, have any questions, or just vent about things. I do talk to a lot of people and you know, help a lot of people get over a lot of tough obstacles in their life because, you know, a main reason why I do this work, like I said, because I grew up like the only child. I never really felt like somebody was just in my corner. Like, of course I know my parents are there and I know my sisters and my brothers are there, but like as far as just, you know, growing up in like an atmosphere of just that village, I never really felt like I had that for real. And I don't want to like paint it as if it's like something terrible. Because like I said, I get this grind because I watch my parents get up and grind every day.
Right.
So everything is kind of like yin and yang, like a, cause and effect, a positive and a negative, like everything kind of like corresponds off each other. But I do this work because I know how important it is for people to feel like they just got somebody they can lean on. Like I said, everybody needs somebody. So that's like one of the main reasons that I do this work. So I have girls that come in my DM and got relationship issues, baby daddy issues. Like, I don't even got no kids. I don't even know. But from what I do know, I could give like that little bit of like, listen, you just gotta pray, you gotta talk to God, you gotta, stand your ground and know what it is that you will accept or wouldn't accept. Like people always say I give the best advice. I don't always take my own advice, but I give really good advice. So anybody needs to reach out, or like as far as like business, getting, your business started up, with little to no money, because I started my business up with little to no money. My mom helped me out a lot with the business that I'm in now. She helped me buy a lot of my startup stuff. That's another thing I'm thankful for, because a lot of people don't have parents that can financially support them like that. So, I could just, if anybody wants to reach out and have any one-on-one conversations, I'm always open to that. I'm not bougie or weird. I'm all about helping people, especially Black people, the collective, because right now we're really weak. Kind of weak as a collective. If I could bring the union and have everybody, working together, I'm for all of that. So.
And that's big and definitely needed right there. And like I said, here at The Proof, I got your back. Anything we can do to help you, you're always welcome. Y'all, hope you enjoyed the interview. I hope it wasn't too much.
Yes, this was
so
over fun. This is so cool.
Thank you, and I appreciate you coming through.
Me.
Hopefully down the road you can come back on and we can chop it up again. Maybe next time we talk about NFTs or something like that. It's up to you.
Yes, NFTs are the ways of the future. Get into that. If you don't know much about it, get on it. It's all over YouTube.
It's the ways of the future. Yeah, so that's the thing. Hopefully, like I said, you'll come back again. I appreciate you tonight. Shout out to your mom and your dad. Salute to everybody that watched the program or may watch the playback. We thank y'all. This is the Proof in the Pudding podcast show. I go by the name of Sion 919, and we had Staxxz in the building, y'all. We thank everybody for tuning in, and we love y'all.
Thank you for tuning in.
All right, we out of here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.